Welcome to the Creative Plan Podcast Network. Join us as we share our favorite RPGs, one-shot games, tabletop games, reviews of items, and convention panels, and other exciting things that we run into from time to time. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion to Ragnarok story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and RPGpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Hey guys, Jim and Kelly here from
Hello.
Creative Flame Podcast Network. We're here for hashtag RPGaDAY2020, August the 8th,
Shade. And of course, I took it as, casting shade, I mean, I'm all about, things like, more glitter, less bitter. But, when you cast a good shade, it can be helpful. However, it can be quite deadly when you're RPGing. So when I saw shade, I didn't think, ooh, a shade, like a wraith or something, that type of thing. Although those suck.
They suck the life right out of you.
Especially in old school, like when they suck your experience points away. That was terrible. But I was thinking of, casting shade on, other places. But it reminded me of Trixie when we went to Budapest, and in the hotel, the friends were the security for the hotel, and my character Trixie, she basically took it upon herself to cast shade like you would not believe against the security.
Shade.
Oh my God, I was vicious. Oh my God, basically making dog jokes and all sorts of stuff because, needless to say, it almost killed my character. Thank goodness for serpent gaze and pixies. Otherwise my character would have lived. But I kept insulting them so much and making these shady comments where they could hear me deliberately. That one night I'm in the hotel room just getting, I can't remember if I was getting in or out of the bath. But I go to answer the door, and as soon as I open it, the guy jumps to rip my throat out, and he's changing mid, lunge. And if it hadn't been for Serpent Gaze locking him in place, and then getting my little pixie friends to figure out how to use the telephone. Oh my God, that was an adventure. To get help, I would have been a carcass. Yeah. So that's what I thought of when I said shade. I'm like, get the sunglasses out, leave me a little RuPaul's Drag Race. The library's open because they're going to read and cast
Shade everywhere.
So, So careful how much shade you cast because it could be your ass. So that's all my 2 cents.
See, for me, I'm thinking shade. I'm thinking the shady characters, those NPCs in your adventure party that the group just doesn't quite know where they stand. I mean, are they a shadow of the character, a dark version of the character, or are they just some good guy in hiding that's trying to protect their it's the God, what's the term for the stool pigeon, the cigarette man, the Marlboro man?
Snitch?
The snitch, but like in X-Files, they call them the Marlboro man because he's the
No, X-Files, he was called the
Yeah.
Cigarette Man.
The cigarette man sitting in the shade.
The Smoking Man.
Man.
Excuse
That's
me,
the
the
term I was
Smoking
looking
Man.
for.
Smoking Man.
The shady
Yeah,
guy
the
who you
Smoking
don't know who he is, but he could really just be the GM's way of forcing the plot along, because he's like, GM puts a mask on and says, Psst, guys, I've given you 5 clues that you've missed. It's this guy. You know, the shady character that you don't know what side of the fence they're on is a really useful tool, because literally, like I just jokingly said, you can use that character who wants to do the right thing and help the heroes along but can't get caught up in the situation. He could be fighting the heroes tomorrow, but he's at least saying, Psst, the tax collector's going down the old deer road tomorrow. It could be that it's a trap. It could be that he's wanting to do the right thing and help the players out. It all really depends on how the GM wants to use the shady guy. You know, he could be the king of the Rogues Guild that wants to assassinate the party, but he really wants to use the party to assassinate someone for him instead because, well, it's more useful that way because he's that shady.
Good point.
You know, never be afraid to use the shady character that could be like Dresden Files. You mentioned that the other day. Marcone. He's as shady as they come as shady characters. But the thing is, he's this honor code Al Capone that you can kind of count on him in a pinch.
Yeah, he's like lawful evil.
Yeah, he's totally lawful evil.
You know, as long as you stick to the code.
No women, no kids.
Yeah, it's like he will do the most evil shit, but he has a code of conduct to speak.
And as an adventuring party, it could be that evil warlord. We'll call him Marcone, that you fought many times because this warlord has gone up and down the coastline. But the thing is, at least you know the evil warlord just wants to demand tribute from people in the forest. He's not like the other couple of necromancers who want to wipe everyone out. So at least you could use the shady warlord to take out their army of undead while your player group assassinates the necromancers.
Okay, that's very convoluted, but apt.
I'm just saying. So always use shady characters. It keeps your players on edge. It can be used that they basically get suckered by the shady character, and it makes a great second season villain because it could be the shady guy helped them to take power for the next season of the game, which that's always fun too.
I just have flashbacks now of the shady dwarf that, double-crossed Trixie. Breaking
and his
her.
whole town died for it. Shade. Well, I was going to say there's no shadier character than Loki. You never know what his angle is, and it's really some third angle you didn't even think of.
Yep, that's why Trixie's very angry with her
Because
father.
unfortunately, Loki is like a lot of the shady villains we've seen in too many shows in the last handful of years. That's infallible, which is one of my pet peeves. I can't stand infallible villains.
I agree. There's nothing more frustrating.
So make sure to keep your true mastermind hidden in the shade, because if the player finds out who they are, we know they're just going to put them down quick and clean. Unless it's a shadow dragon, whose wings cast shade. So is that pretty much...
Actually, I just thought of another one. Like a desert campaign, make sure, your characters have shade with them, or travel by night, or those type of things, because, that would suck.
Shade.
I remember being in a desert campaign when I was young. Fortunately, we had the hut spell. So we would cast that to,
cast the tiny hut to escape.
Make sure we were, and and then travel by night so that, cause there ain't no shade. And I burn.
Hey, in D&D, you're going to be rolling those endurance rolls to see how fatigued your group is without shade.
Exactly.
And of course, shade also works with the undead because, Shadowfell, it's the shade version of Feywild, just saying.
Yeah.
Everything's got its dark shade. Alrighty, guys, I think we laid some light on the shade there.
Again, foreshadowing.
I was waiting for something. I thought you were going to say foreshadowing. Alrighty, guys, thank you for listening, and talk to you tomorrow. We'll shine some light in the subject.
Oh.
It was either that or this little light of mine.
No.
Maybe tomorrow. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Play and Podcast Network, and feel free to enjoy our other shows such as D&D Journey of the 5th Edition and Scion Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion Hero to Ragnarok story. Thank you for listening.